Welcome back. This is Business AM. My name is Zandiro Kanga and I'm standing in for Elijah Charles Simba Kiake. Now, consumers are staring at high cost of milk after processors adjusted their prices in response to the tightening supply in the market. In the latest review, half a litre packet of the popular Gold Crown New KCC brand has gone up to retail at 52 shillings from 50 previously, with the same quantity for Brookside selling at 55, marking the first major rise in cost since 2018. The high cost is attributable to a sharp decline in supply, leading to a spark in producer prices, with then additional cost passed to consumers, signaling a rise in inflation as the food basket is a major contributor. Now, according to Livestock Principal Secretary Harry Kimutai, this is obviously in response to the shortage in supply of milk and high cost of producer price, which has been ongoing up of late, To discuss this and the remedy for milk production, we are joined by Alex Gavi, a cow signal trainer, dairy consultant, and nutritionist, and he's also the managing director, Tano Lope Consulting Farm Limited. Let's take a look at, first of all, thank you for making time before we even jump into the conversation.
Thank you, Adila. How are you?
Fine, thank you. The PS is attributing this jump of milk prices to the cost of production and also demand.
Yes.
Please put that into context for the viewer.
Thank you for having me. It has been quite some time since I was here. I hope you are safe also from COVID. COVID has really disrupted quite a number of things, both the demand and supply chains and the supply sides of everything, every business, and dairy sector and milk products is no exception. So there has been a general trend in increase in milk consumption in Kenya. As you know that the dairy sector contributes about 4% of our GDP, about 14% of the agricultural GDP, and 44% of the livestock GDP. So milk production is very important. It takes in about 140 billion every year. So that's a very important sector of our economy. So having said that, if you look at the way the trades have been for the last 17 years, Kenyans have been consuming milk, maziwa ya Nyayo. That school milk program gave us that taste of milk. So every Kenyan wants to take a milk product. So the milk consumption has been rising for 7%. Increasing the demand has been increasing. The growth rate has been increasing by 7%. But the production has been at 3%. So it's not matching the production versus the consumption. Due to urbanization and also the increase in income, you know, Kenyans have, the income has been increasing, what we call the per capita for the country has been
GDP
increasing.
per capita.
Yes, GDP per capita. So since there is more disposable income, Kenyans have been consuming milk, but that has not been matched with the production side.
So from what you're saying is that there's a gap in production.
Yes.
We now have demand. So how do we feed this demand?
That's a good question, fundamental question indeed. Number one, where there is demand, there has to be a solution. There has to be milk. It's either dairy farmers shape up, or we get milk powder from outside the country, and that will be draining the foreign exchange of this country. So in my view as a consultant, and my 12-year experience with dairy farmers, dairy investors, dairy stakeholders, we need to shape up. We need to review our production systems. We need to do a total overhaul of the production system. We need to increase our productivity per cow. We have about 4.5 million dairy cows in Kenya, producing on average 7 liters per day. The other jurisdictions, they are producing about 15, 20 liters per cow. So why are we having so many cows producing less?
So what's the difference? What are we doing differently, or what do we need to do differently?
We have so many cows producing less milk per cow. So suppose we reduce the number of cows, we do intensive farming. In fact, we can even do the kibbutz system, where you bring about 10,000 cows, they are Malawi way. We bring so many cows in one cow shed, and improve the management, increase the milk quality, and also lower the cost of production. Because honestly speaking, Kenya, we are producing milk at very high cost. And that cannot compete globally and even continentally. Nigeria wants to import milk powder from us. We are producing at 40 cents per dollar, 40 cents dollars per, and then Europe, they are producing at 26 cents per dollars. So it's not competitive. Our dairy sector is not competitive. Let me ask you a fundamental question. Must everybody get into dairy farming?
Good question.
When you want to retire is when you go to dairy? Is that the way we do business? Africa is only producing 5% of the global milk, and Kenya is producing 30–40% of that milk. Kenya is that important to the global milk industry. Why can't we, must we stick to a small scale holder farming? I mean, we must change our production system. We must take dairy industry as a business. We must invest the dollars, you know, the millions of dollars and the business modeling and the business planning in the dairy sector. Failure to do that, due to the growing demand, there will be the import, the milk import, and that will collapse our dairy sector. There has been a drop in the dairy, according to the Kenya Dairy Board, there has been a drop of milk production from 60 million million liters per month in January to around 30–40 million currently. So you can imagine there is a drop of about 40–50%. And that is, and the people are, the consumption side, there's an increased demand due to COVID. Quite a number of people are at home. We have done the milk, what you call the processing capacity has increased to almost 700 million liters per year. We want to hit that to about 1 billion liters in the next few years. So in terms of infrastructure, the milk processing capacity, Kenya, we are set. We are processing we have about 3.5 million liters. We can process 3.5 million liters per day, which is good for us. We are only processing 40% of that. We have an idle capacity of 60%. In my thinking, my 2 cents this morning would be, let's look at the production side. Let's look at the production system. Let's look at how we are producing milk. Must everybody become a dairy farmer? Can we have selected farmers, maybe 1,000 farmers, or maybe maybe 100 farms in Kenya producing half of the milk at a cheaper rate, higher quality, and that will ensure some sustainable market supply.
So what you're saying is we compartmentalize the dairy industry, where there are those who are producing milk at a commercial level, and then every other person that wants to produce can produce at consumption level.
Even at consumption level, we can have it that way, but we can still phase it out. I would think it's better for you to, if you have below 10 cows, you'd rather close your cow shed and buy milk from the market. And if somebody can produce market at a lower rate, probably below 20 shillings, then we can be able to supply the market, or have the market, the packet of milk at the shelves at 40 shillings. But currently is retaining at between 50 and 55. You see, so how many people can afford that? So, number two, 85% of our milk is in liquid form. For us to increase the production, we need to shift from that. Reduce that 85% of the liquid milk to probably 60–50%. And then have more products, milk products in the market. Cheese, butter.
But are Kenyans open to that, particularly powdered milk? Let's even begin with the most basic of them, powdered milk.
Kenyans are very dynamic people. Or what, by the way, the market in Kenya can be segmented. I can tell you there's a high end, the medium, and the lower end. If we target the high end, people with money, and the middle class, we'll be able to market half of our milk. So, you see, the bad part about the liquid milk is the bulkiness, and that increases the cost of production, the cost of distribution. Yeah. So, we need to change, we need to tweak and twitch the whole dairy model system in Kenya.
The government pumps money into the dairy sector. However, it gives it to milk processing plants like new KCC. Where should that money go to with the information that you're giving us this morning? Where should we be investing our money?
Everybody, every processor, there are about 30 processors in this country, and probably double of that mini dairies, about 60 mini dairies in Kenya. Everybody is getting milk from the farmers. Who is investing on the production side? Even those processors are not investing in the production side. I want to surprise you this morning that there is an extension gap in this country as huge as it can ever be in life. Nobody cares about the farmers. Nobody supports the farmers. Maybe some gimmicks and some cosmetic extension services from the processors. So the private sector, together with the public sector, which is the government, needs to come together and restructure or even structure the extension services in this country. We as a company, we get calls from very far. And how many farmers can afford our services? They want our services. And how wide can we spread our services? Yeah.
How then do we support these farmers with this money?
The money should trickle down. Number one, we need, there's a question you asked about the production matching the consumption, the supply-demand side. Let me talk about the 6 points that we can double the milk production in Kenya.
Go ahead.
Number one, we need to address, I've known that the farmers, the cows are having water stress. If you address water stress, heat stress, social stress, if you address the protein deficiencies in our farms, if you address the energy deficiencies, if you do proper management, like the deworming, there are farms we go that a whole year they have not dewormed their 100 cows. What does that translate to? Low productivity, low production, high cost of production. There are farms that they don't even control the ticks. So their cow sheds are constructed in a pathetic way. Somebody has invested 20, 30, or even 10 million shillings in a structure that does not give cows good cow comfort. Once you lack good cow comfort, your milk can go down up to 15%, probably even 20%. Are you in business? So there are those we call, as a company, we call them the low-hanging fruit. There are things that a farmer or a dairy investor can do and double the milk production within that farm. But there are also other things that the farmer can do, that the government can do, and also increase the milk production. The feed dairy meal in this country, the feed quality in this country is wanting. It's very low. So can the government, and I want to address the Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya, and also the President, and also the provincial administration, and also the Kenya Bureau of Standards, and all those stakeholders, the multi-agency, implement the Standard Act so that the farmers can get quality input. We are talking about the high cost of production along the dairy value chain. Who is looking at the quality of those standards, the standards of those inputs? Every farmer is complaining about the dairy meal, the poor quality of dairy meal, the high cost of that dairy meal. It is less quantity. So who is checking that? Who is safeguarding the farmer? The alkalicides, the dewormers, the mineral supplements, what we call the chumvi. The majority of them are substandard. Who is safeguarding this farmer?
So it's like there's a really big loophole when the government says we're supporting farmers. Either they do not know how to support, or they're not offering the right type of support to grow the sector.
You are right. They're not offering the right support. The extension services, the World Bank revealed what we call the structural adjustment programs. They scrapped the extension services, and that was a mistake that should be reversed immediately.
That's agricultural extension services?
Yes. This country in 70s and 80s, we used to see those agricultural officers coming to our farms, digging the trenches, advising us how to do all this to feed the cows and to construct the cow barns. Nowadays, they are not there. So the extension gap is being filled to some extent even by quacks, because it's a need in the market, but nobody is feeling that need. Can the government even regulate the private sector and even license the people who are the consultants the veterinary and paraprofessional group, so that we're able to weed out the quacks. Otherwise, we'll continue having decline in milk production. Yes.
We had touched on it briefly, but I want us to delve deeper into value addition, because most farmers will think, okay, I can go large scale, I can do all these things, but I'll have 1,000 liters, 10,000 liters of milk a day. What am I going to do with all this stock? What role does value addition play in growing the dairy sector?
On the face of it, the value addition looks lucrative, looks sexy, looks nice. Yeah, but if I am to advise a dairy investor, I would advise you, please perfect your area, please perfect your space. If you are in production, can you perfect the production side of it? Can you increase the productivity of your feeds? Can you feed your cows so well? Can you make more money in the production side? Yeah? Then somebody else who is in processing, because like now we already have 3.5, we can easily process 3.5 million comfortably in Kenya. So why should we, all of us, get into value addition? Yeah? So perfect where you are. If you are in dairy production, perfect your farm, let it be a model farm, let have the key performance indicators that are very attractive, and have a balance sheet that is looking good. You're making profits. Yeah, your profit margins are big. Your milk quality is good. You have good high butter fat and protein content, those kind of things. And your productivity per cow is beyond even 24 liters per day. Those are the things we need now to invest in. If you're in processing, can you remove those inefficiencies, production inefficiencies, you know, so that you are able to lower your cost of production to about maybe 30%. Yes.
And what would those be? What would those production inefficiencies be that raise the cost of production, which in turn trickles down to the end consumer who will buy these products sort of expensively?
Like now, if you don't plan your production so well, that will increase the labor costs. If you don't do the saving of your electricity bills will go high. If you don't do proper maintenance of your machineries, your processing equipment, your pasteurizers, your production cost will go high. If there are inefficiencies within your factory, if your factory is not, the calibrations within your factory, the losses, the milk losses within, and the spillages within the system, within the processing, if you don't manage those inefficiencies, they'll be carried over to the consumer. Yes.
Now, I have about 5 minutes on the clock. You've been doing this for a long time, and definitely maybe you've traveled or you've interacted with farmers from different parts of the world. I know Scandinavian countries are big milk producers, and even the United States of America. What lessons can we borrow from these people?
That's a good one. The business modeling. In Kenya, we need to get out of this that everybody wants to do dairy. Even you tomorrow, if you want to start a dairy farm, you'll do it.
I want to buy cows.
You want to buy cows? Talk to me. But the issue is, are these people guided? When you look at the Scandinavian countries, the European countries, the America, they are guided by certain principles. There are specific farmers who produce milk. They are given the production quotas. They are supported by government what we call subsidies. Yeah, the feeds are subsidized. There are government programs that support the farmers, the dairy farmers. The extension services, look at Israel. They have Israel Dairy Board, although it's a private sector, but it's supported by the government. It supports the veterinary, it supports the health issues, it supports the milk quality issues of the farmers. So in Kenya, we need to get down, we need to reduce the 1.3 million dairy farmers. Probably to 100 or 200. Yeah? Yeah. And we cannot reduce it physically. You reduce it through implementation of certain targeted programs. If let's say 100 farms in Kenya can produce 2.3 or 4 billion liters every year, some people will get out to other businesses or even grow further to support the big farms. Yeah.
So,
and then we must look at the whole dairy value chain. Everybody is looking at the milk. You can grow further and make your money. You are still in dairy. You can sell heifers. You can sell in-calf cows. You can sell biogas. You can sell manure. You can train. You can be in consultancy. Why are we only thinking about milk? Let's go beyond milk. Sometimes I even see milk as a byproduct. The money is in the whole dairy value chain. Yes.
You've extensively talked about extension officers who offer support for farmers, and I want us to briefly talk about that technical support from an educational point of view. How do we ensure that we have skilled labor out there to offer farmers the kind of technical support that they need as they go about dairy farming?
We don't have standard training manual in this country for dairy. It's quite unfortunate. We have respectable institutions like Dairy Training Institute. We have some other institutions that are coming up. We also have the private sector, the Tanolop, the Performita, the Dairy Africa, and many others that are coming up or they are already established. But surprisingly, we don't have a manual. We can say this is how to feed a cow properly, optimally. This is how to construct a good cow barn. If you go to different people, they have different designs. We need to standardize the way we do things, the way we feed a cow or cows, the way we construct the cow barns, the way we grow fodder, the way we make silage. I mean, we need to standardize. We need to develop, and as a company, we are working on a dairy investors guidebook that can capture all these developments that have been there, how you can learn a dairy investment profitably.
Okay. Finally, where do we go from here? I mean, Kenyans, it will be difficult on them and on their pockets to be buying milk at 53 shillings, at 55 shillings. Where do we go in the next, say, 1 year or 2 years in ensuring that we bring that cost down?
I still go back to the production side. We need to work on the production side that is feeding the whole system, the processing and the marketing. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that there are funds available to the farmers, to the dairy investors in this country at lower interest rates. Then we need to make sure that not everybody who goes to dairy farming. Honestly speaking, somebody milking half a liter, 1 liter, 2 liters, how are they supporting the dairy sector? Why can't we have farms that are producing 10,000 liters, 20,000 liters, good quality milk, produced at the lowest cost? Otherwise, Kenya has one of the highest milk producers prices in the world. We are still skyrocketing. Right now, we are paying farmers 42 shillings, 42 shillings. Is that sustainable? It's not. It's not.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. And be sure to come back next time. Hopefully, they will heed your advice and we'll see a difference in the market.
Looking forward to be here again. Thank you for having me.
Great. That is it for our sector trends today. I hope you've learned a thing or two if you're in the dairy sector or want to get in there. We want to take a short breather. When we come back, economic review.